나는 마하! 세상의 모든 소식을 전해주지! 마하가 전하는 오늘의 소식!
Hello, this is KRBrickBot, and Choi Rock is continuing to re-release their older products. For early 2020, they're re-releasing a lot of their 2017 Season 5 Carbots. Except these auto-changing shell-forming guys. But they decided to release these not-so-shell-forming auto-changing guys. Especially Mahapiece here. They were released on the tail end of 2017 and they retail for about 70,000 Korean won each. So if you notice, this one I got in its initial or maybe second run when both Choi Rock and Sonokong was advertised, and I recently got the newest re-release of Mahapiece, and such only the Choi Rock logo here. The packaging is pretty similar with a similar layout, like the top and the bottom, and the similar style of word mark, and highlighting the cross combination system here with the combination and the name on the back of here, and also there's a little schematic outline of both Mahapiece on both packagings. Okay, so looking at the side of the box, this side shows the little bios for the two individual vehicles. The back highlights the cross combination system and its 4 combinations. This side is the exact same. Okay, so yeah, this was a 2018 release. And Mahapiece here, it's a late 2019 release. And same here, the bios and the cross combination system. Yeah, so different stock photos here. Okay, now to get to reviewing both of them. First, let's look at Brave. Brave is an armored truck. An armored truck with huge front wheels and teeny tiny back wheels. 4 tiny back wheels. I guess they just wanted to keep the 6-wheeled look, but it doesn't quite work here because those wheels are limited to the tire waist bit. I think it would have been better if they just did 4 wheels. So what other details that sell this as an armored truck is a very prominent front plow, these bolted windows, and these iron reinforced doors and bolted windows, and little smokestacks and a little hatch right here. And this turret which doubles as a robot's head. And on the back there's another little door detail, which you can flip this out to deploy some little laser guns if you want, if you so fancy. And they're connected with a hexagonal hole, so when these are connected they rotate together at the same time. And it's also removable for some reason. Yeah, but this side, it's looking pretty plain. And it looks especially kind of a little pathetic if it's this is missing. Yeah, so it's an armored truck of a fictitious super deformy origin. Now for Road. Load is a bulldozer. A typical yellow bulldozer, except the proportions look way off. For one, the hydraulic pistons, they're way too far back. They should be in the front, you know, to lift and lower the raise and lower the blade, but the blade is a very awkward looking thing. It's a very strange looking thing with a big trigger and a very short and a very big lip, a thick lip. Just because this is the connection port for the auto transformation. Doesn't lend itself well to pushing. Well, yeah, you could do some pushing, but not quite the most efficient pushing. Anyway, some nice tread details here. And little smokestack details here, and some vents disguised as buttons. buttons disguised as vents. Black painted windows. And I've noticed with some of these later Season 5 Carbots that the plastic is not the typical shiny plastic, which is not necessarily a bad thing. This kind of typical plastic you would see in maybe American toys or cheaper Chinese toys. I guess it makes itself less susceptible to visible scuffs and scratches. Unlike the Unity Carbot series, this one requires a bit more manual activation. So you basically reorient them to put them in position. Is kind of like more like the Hasbro Crash Combiners and the Unity series. Okay, so that alone won't activate it. Then you press this big red button. So if you saw there, that apparently releases these hatches which spring out the legs and these spring-loaded treads. And these spring-loaded arms, and the head also pops out. And what's kind of clever is how these arms split. So hold it once and it releases one at a time. So if you see here, if you press that button, only this side moves because of the little spring button here, which pushes this little latch. No, which pushes this little button here, which releases this latch. Kind of interesting, but that kind of makes it slightly asymmetrical. And then flip down the arms and come around on the back and you can flip these up. And take the little weapons here and plug them in the hands. Or double combine them. Or use them as a stick. I suppose the robot mode is disjointed, I would say. I mean, there's so many sharp breaks in here and there and also there's a noticeable shoulder gap here. But at least the color is pretty. It's complementary. It's actually complementary here. Some black and red and the little yellow bolts here and the shoulder cannons here and the head sculpt. It's like he's wearing a bucket head. A turret bucket head with a very cheeky yellow things. And a big chest emblem thing. Spring-loaded chest. And I've noticed in the cartoon, for some reason, some of the parts were rendered black, like this door and the entire head section. And the top of the roof, this was all black. And I'm not sure if that was some sort of color palette error or that was originally intended to be the design. But anyway, I don't think it looked that bad with some of this red anyway. And let's see if we can get some light piping in here. Yeah, just try to shine a light on the front end there and you kind of get some light piping. Not sure how well those little shoulder cannon things will light pipe. Articulation is pretty limited, as to be expected from a auto-transforming toy. Head goes on the full 360, the antenna can move 90 degrees, little spring-loaded head. Full 360 arm ratchets, inward and outward on ratchets, and that's it. No elbows nor biceps. And the legs, you can't do much with the legs. Just a little non-functioning forward wibble wobble. The side spread. I mean, what were you expecting? And here's a little fan mode. Vehicular scavenger mode. I mean, load's back weight really helps lift the load of Brave without it scraping on the floor, so this is some sort of insectoid-like sweeper thing. Now looking at the other set, Maha and Peace. So I think Maha in Korean literally means mock, as in Tobot Mach W, but they just decided to go directly Maha. I think mock sounds better in my opinion. Mahapeace. Anyway, this is a blue buggy. Very big off-road tires, a nice curved cockpit. Thunderbolt motifs throughout. Very simple Thunderbolt motifs and some yellow striping here and there. Mixed with some blue. A kind of unusually shaped bumper that's just a connection joint. No headlights or anything. Just some hydraulics. Are these hydraulics? And are these suspension details? It's kind of hard to tell from this thing. And it has this thing on the underside for the auto transformation, but it really can't roll with that thing on. Because it looks like these holes are supposed to go into here, and that should have been level, but for some reason it's not, because there are some springs in here. Some springs are preventing this thing from fully locking in. I'm not sure whether it's because of a design oversight or an assembly error, but as this, it certainly doesn't work. That's a shame. Critical shame. Well, I guess you could clip it forward for big grabby claws, or just remove the thing altogether. And Peace here is a green Hummer or a Jeep. More like a Hound-like Jeep, a military Jeep. With some big guns on top, except I don't think you can actually show real bullet guns, so I think these are supposed to be spray, anti-pesticide. It's not pesticide, some sort of healing spray for plants, because he's Peace. So the front, very obvious spring where the grill should be. Some lightning bolt on the side with some slightly askew designs here, which is cleverly disguises the robot feet. Also pretty plain on the back. Paint splotch. And if you look on the underside, you can see it's very asymmetrical because it plugs in on these, it transforms sideways, and consequently that's not perfectly symmetrical. So here are they compared to the typical Carbot. Just about the same width, but slightly shorter in length. Shortly shorter in shape. Slightly shorter in length. Slightly shorter in length. Now, I'm not sure how well this will transform, but as you see, it's plugged in sideways for Peace. And then press the button and it auto transforms like that. Although the first time I transformed this, I think this piece parts got really caught up, so they really did not transform no matter how hard I pressed. Anyway, and then yeah, you can take this and plug it on the back. Still won't go in. And then some manual steps of flipping up these shoulder bits and taking the weapons and flipping them out into hammers. And then plugging them in the hands. So I suppose this is the more cooler looking one of the set, and hence this one sell out way before Brayroad. Let's look at that head there. It's certainly thunderous. Is it kind of a thunder motif with just jagged lines, or it kind of looks like some sort of mask? There's some silver and yellow and some pretty nice light piping you can get in there. I suppose these little wings give him some sort of nice thunderous. It really helps carry along that speedy motif, at least for the top part. And I guess these could be reminiscent of Rodimus wings. And the bottom green half, it's pretty big. Pretty biggy, and a interesting design for it to be asymmetrical, like splitting on the side. and some permanently split toes in this position, and that's why it's kind of that much off-angled. And some noticeable tabs for auto-transforming. And some more noticeable latches on the legs. And it's kind of hollow on the other side, but not that noticeable. And the hands are looking kind of slim, with the wheels bolted on the fists. And these hammers, they're kind of short stack hammers with the big obvious handles and some hollow undersides. This one is pretty filled, but this one is hollow. I guess you could just fold it up for a single-sided hammer. Yeah, I think that kind of looks better, but yeah, that looks much more symmetrical. Or just plug it in like a gun. Or just maybe combine them both to form a double-sided hammer for double pounding or double gun. Anyway, these accessories are not the best looking. Also, Maha got his own little super deformed Transformers Ultimate like keyring, which feels like a real outlier because there is no keyring Brayroad, and the other 5 in this series are basically typical mainline Carbot combiners. And this one is just an auto-transforming 2-part combiner, and not like the grand combiners of the other 5. And I think this is technically just Maha because I don't see any piece molded details. Articulation is also pretty similar to Brayroad. Full 360 as far as this head will go without colliding in the back latches. Full 360 on really tight ratchets. And yeah, I gotta get this out of the way. The arms are spring-loaded, so you can only go that far. Elbows on 3 kicks. No wrist. And the legs, same deal. Very limited forward wibble wobble. But the legs are constructed differently, so they can go at least sideways at least. Maybe lock in for the splits. And I suppose you could do this. Just a quick size comparison with a leader class Transformer. Maybe about 2 heads taller. And this is a cross combination system, so you can swap the legs or the pants. So this is a pushing vehicle mode. Yeah, but then press the button. And this is Maha Road. Yeah, no specific fancy name changes, just a compound name. And then Brave and Peace. Kind of tricky to access the button. Yeah, this is what I mean. I mean, most of the time this thing just kind of gets caught up. Okay, so this is Mahapeace. Okay, personally, I think the bulky nature of both vehicles lends itself to a nice aesthetic here, and I guess Maha Road looks more leaner. So some might like this combination more than the packaged combination. So it's something that will gratify some kids for a short period. Very big gratifications, because there's already like a smaller deluxe scale, so it feels somewhat redundant to make these, and especially at this scale. I think the deluxe scale would have worked just fine. I guess they at least have some more manual articulation than the all spring-loaded joints of the Unity series, but still. In short, these two are a premium luxury for kids in Korea that not many Westerners will bother importing, because they would rather spend $10 on a smaller figure that has basically the same functionality in their minds.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more Korean robot content. And hopefully better than these two. So until next time, peace out.